How many of you use a pre-listing package? Hands way up. Pre-listing package. Okay, it's about half, I think. Now, the pre-listing package, I would not live without. In fact, I won't even go on a listing presentation until and unless they have received my pre-listing package and we have verified it and asked them the pre-appointment questions. That's how important it is. Remember we talked about educating them? Before I show up on a listing, I want them to have enough knowledge to be able to assess that I'm far better and I'm the right person for the job. Don't you? Wouldn't that be a great thing to do? So I'm going to share with you my pre-listing package. And I've given you about 3 versions in the download, but we'll go through my favorite one so that you have all the answers to the questions that might come up and you feel comfortable using it. You can modify it, take pages out, throw them away, add pages. Just don't add self-promotion. Why? Because do they really care about us? No, not really. If you're in this business thinking, oh, I'm going to get all these accolades from all these people, no, not going to happen. Sometimes, I've had people bring me dinner at night. I saw you burn the midnight oil, and, you need to get home to those little girls of yours, and here's some dinner for you. And, I love all that. That's great. In fact, I believe, you might want to turn this down a smidgen because I think I'm going to start yelling. I believe that here's one of the things that we have in common. That you care more about people than you should for your own well-being, but you can't help it. That's just the way you're wired up. How many feel like that describes them? Yes, that's why we're in this business. But because of that quirk, and I'm afflicted with it too, we sometimes have a tendency to do too many things for free or think that we shouldn't get paid for the things that we do. And I'm going to give you permission today to get paid for everything you do. You have to, or you can't stay in the business and help even more people, right? See, you wouldn't be in here, I don't believe, unless you believed that you care more about people than you should for your own well-being, and they would be disadvantaged if they listed or sold through another agent. Do you feel that way? I do. I definitely believe that if they don't choose me, I don't know how the other person's going to treat them, if they're going to be honest with them, take care of them, care about all those little things. So we have the right group of people. Let me give you the tools then that you need. Okay, first of all, in the first few pages, and I guess I need to advance this, don't I? I thought I was going to just do it by immaculate. No, that's something else, isn't it? Okay, so this is just, those pages are just, is it not moving forward? Probably have it upside down. Do I know? Okay. Is that doing it? There we go. Okay. So these are just the instructions for you so that if you get home and you forget, what did he say to do again? I send out my pre-listing package to absolutely every potential seller. Every potential seller gets my pre-listing package either delivered to them if they're within 30 miles of my office, or I send it electronically. But they get it within the first 24 hours of me generating that lead. It's that critically important. In fact, if I could only have one tool out of my arsenal of tools and someone was going to parachute me into your market, that would be the one I would bring with me. And I could set up shop and start competing because of the power and the impact that it makes on people. Okay, so we're going to get over with all that to a detailed guide for home sellers. Now, I put it in a bright red envelope that says urgent on it. It says urgent. I don't have an example with me. Somehow it's missing from the last time we did a seminar. So you can put it in some kind of a unique, 9 by 12 envelope, even if you're going to deliver it, but make it look nice, okay? So here's a detailed guide for home sellers. Part 1, the agent interview, questions, personal references, pricing your home to sell. What's the most important thing that you need to hit and talk about? Pricing. That's the difference between getting paid and not, correct? Okay, so let's look at this. First, there's a cover letter. It says, Dear, you put their name in there. Just gives them an overview of what they're going to be looking at, okay? Next, it says, before you read this, I insist that you call at least 3 of these references attached and ask them the following questions. And I give them the questions to ask. Now, anybody that happens to be on my client list, let me back up. On my client list, and I don't know why that's totally blank. We usually put just a fake name or something in there so you don't call them. The only people that go on your client list should be people that you have already coached and told them that if you get a call from somebody who's thinking about doing business with me, they're going to ask you these 3 questions. Here are the answers I'd like for you to use if you're comfortable. Believe me, that's the only way they're going to do it, because if they, I'm not very good at this stuff. You need to feed them the answers of what you need them to do so they can help you out, because most people do want to help you, but you have to give them an easy way to do that. They're not going to give you a referral unless you make it easy for them to do. Okay? Have them dial into a voice mailbox and leave the information 24 hours a day. Don't make it hard for them to help you. Okay, so let me back up now. I insist you call at least 3 of these references. Now, notice that I insist that you do it. Most people, I invite you to call them. No, I'm going to insist. You know why? They're not going to do it anyway. So insist on it. Insist that they do it. It gives you a little bit more horsepower there. Okay? But just know they're not going to do it anyway. Okay. Number next, client list. There's a template for you. Nothing else. A seller's guide to interviewing an agent for the job of professionally marketing your home. This is one of the most requested items I get from home sellers. The 7 critical questions I ask every real estate agent before you sign anything. Now, from me to you, these questions are designed to eliminate my competition ethically, morally, and legally, and to accentuate my strengths. Okay? So it says, do you work as a full-time realtor? Optional, if you've been licensed for 10 years or more. See, I'm going to tell them what answer they're looking for and why. Now, I've been licensed in the state of California. I've been a broker for 33 years. So one of my questions could be, have you been licensed full-time in the state of California for a minimum of 25 years? See, the first person that answers no loses. That's just a fact. Now, if you aren't a seasoned veteran, not going to be one of your questions. Maybe it's, have you been in the business so many years that you built up a client list and you just don't have the time to give to me as a potential new client? You can combat it. Give me what it is that you need to overcome, and this is a great way for you to do it. I offer guarantee services. So one of the questions I give them that they should ask is, do you guarantee your services? Most agents are going to go, well, I could, I guess. And it doesn't matter. The game's over then. First person that has to answer no, or they don't know, or seem inept at it, the other person automatically wins. They don't know how to interview us. So that's why all these people ask for it. You'll see it sitting out on their table when you get there. You'll see the interview questions, because I tell them, here are the tough questions you should ask of every real estate agent before you sign anything. And doggone it, you should even ask those tough questions of me. Now, who wrote them? Yeah, me. But they don't take the time to say, wait a minute, seems, no one has ever said that to me. They're just glad to have the tough questions to ask. And they're right there in a nice little format for them. Now, I've given you more than 7 so that you had a little more to draw from. But you get the idea. Be sure to modify those before you hand these packages out. Okay. Yeah. I had one guy that sent us a testimonial, and he said, I went out and started using the materials. I didn't even take your name off. I got a listing appointment in a matter of days. They were looking at me weird when I showed up. They were just so excited. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounded good. Okay, now I'm going to educate them. There are 3 market types: a seller's market, a normal market, and a buyer's market. So, therefore, the sooner you sell, the better it is for you. You want to educate them with the education that you want them to have. See, that's the great thing about being the educator. You get to choose what you're going to educate them about, right? And you want to educate them to a way of doing business that, lo and behold, just happens to match the way you do business. And that makes sense to them. See, by the time they get pre-educated, I call the pre-listing package sometimes the advanced scout. It's what sets the table for me. Because many times they'll go, oh yeah, I knew that we should be doing that. Well, they knew it because I educated them to it. And then they're looking for those things in what I'm presenting. And the two match up pretty good, pretty well, as you'll see. So 3 market types: revealing research, National Association of Realtors research, the history of homes that actually sold in all 3 types of markets. And they discovered 2 critically important things. 95% of all the homes that closed escrow sold within 60 days after the listing price, the seller's asking price, was set at the appropriate market price. And number 2, homes properly priced sold within 3% of the seller's asking price. I always sell my listings for more than the average. Always. Why? Because they're priced right. They're priced right. They have to be. So therefore, if a property has not received an offer within 60 days, it's overpriced by at least 5% or possibly more. Now, is this coming out of my mouth? No, it's coming from the research here, which has much more credibility to them right now than out of the mouth of a licensed commissioned salesperson has to sell them something to earn a living. Okay? So, next, time is of the essence. The majority of buyer activity on a new listing occurs when? The first few weeks, right? Okay, so for this reason, it's important that you have your home in the best condition and at the right price at the first exposure. You have to give people enough reasons for them to do something, otherwise they're not going to do it. So I'm trying to lay out a step-by-step format of educating them as to why it's so important to do the one critical thing that I'm going to talk about, right? There's lots of opinions. There's only one set of facts. We'll look at the facts of record and together determine a pricing strategy to sell your home for the highest realistic price. Did I say I'm going to sell it for more than the market would bear? No, as good as I am, I can't sell it for more than the market. Can you? No. And determining the market value is not an exact science. It's a best guess scenario, right? Sure, tell them that. You know how suspicious they are about the price that we give them? They're suspicious about that. And why is that? I'll tell you in just a little bit. I'll give you a new tool to use instead of the basic CMA. The standard old competitive market analysis, CMA. You know, we take properties that are somewhat similar to theirs. We don't really know because we haven't seen them all. And then we get properties that are in close proximity. Now, how many of you, being honest, how many of you, when you do your CMA, can move that price up or down $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 or more, depending on which properties you include in it? Hands way up. That should be everybody. Doesn't say you did. But you could, couldn't you? And this is why they don't trust us. They don't know that exactly. But there's something that causes them to mistrust this process a little bit. So we're going to take that problem away and educate them that it's not exact science. We'll determine the market value together, the pricing strategy. It's a strategy. It's not me telling you, here's what it'll sell for. Because no matter how careful you are, if you give them the price, you utter that price, it comes out of your mouth, you own it. No matter how carefully you worded it, you own it. And if you don't get that price, they're going to see that you didn't quite do the job. Especially if you take an overpriced listing and think you're going to work it down later. I wouldn't suggest that. But I have some tools for you if you're going to do that. Okay, next, several possible pricing strategies. There's an as-is pricing strategy, a quick sale pricing strategy, traditional pricing strategy. So I'm educating them to the possibilities of these different things. Who determines the market value of my home? Truth is, no one can tell you what your home will sell for. Can you? No, as good as we are, we can't do that. There are lots of opinions and only one set of facts. We'll examine the facts of record and together determine a pricing strategy. There's a reason why I'm using the words that I use, because they're palatable to people. All of the words that I use are used for a reason, okay? Designed to sell your home for the most money. The real market value is determined when someone says, I'll buy it, and here's what I'll pay. And they end up closing escrow. Then and only then is the market value determined, yes or no? Yes. Until then, it's a best guess, and we need to tell them that. How do you determine which pricing strategy is best for our home? How do we determine that? So I go through reasons why. You can read this on your own and see if this makes sense to you. My guess is that it will make sense to you because, in fact, it's truthful and it does make perfect sense. Why you should price your home realistically. Again, you have to give people enough reasons for them to do something. Time, competition, reputation, inconvenience. Notice at the bottom in red, it says 80% of the marketing your home is selecting a proper pricing strategy. It's probably more like 90%. Let's just go one step further. If you get a listing, you get it priced right, will it sell and you'll get paid and you really wouldn't have to do much of anything, would you? Is that true? Yeah. So isn't that the way you want to go? I mean, if you get it priced right, you're going to get paid and you're not going to have to spend a lot of money, maybe even money you don't have, on something that usually has nothing to do with what's going to make it sell. Okay, let's move on. Thinking about selling. This is a homework page. I have 2 homework pages that I ask them to do before I get there. We even confirm that they have finished them before I head out the door for the listing presentation. Remember, this is the pre-listing package, delivered or mailed a few days before the actual appointment. Okay? So, it says thinking about selling. What are you concerned about? I have them on a scale of 1 being not concerned and 4 to being very concerned. I have given them a list of some of the things that are objections or concerns that people have voiced over the years. And I just want them to put a circle in there, what they're concerned about and what not. And the reason for that is this. How long do you think they want you in their home? As little time as possible. They want to get back to Leave It to Beaver or the argument they were having before you got there or whatever else is going on in their life. But let me ask you a question for those of you that maybe don't believe that. Oh, I don't think that's true. They want me there for a long time. I'm adorable. Maybe you are. But how long do you want a licensed commission salesperson in your living room? Remember, they see us all as about the same, give or take 10%. They don't think we're very honest. Did you know that? Did you know that? I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, but they don't. So I have them circle the things that they're concerned about and leave the others without circling. So that when I go on my listing presentation, all I need to do and all you need to do is speak to those things that they're concerned about. I used to do a 2-hour listing presentation, 2 hours. I would never be out of water so that I wouldn't have to leave. If I got down a little bit, I'd say, could I get some more water, please? And I was floating out. I did a 2-hour listing presentation because my listing presentation was 2 hours and I was going to finish it. Now, I believe I talked myself out of as many listings as I took. Because the longer I talked, it drove the price up and created more objections that they didn't have when I got there. So I gave them too much ammunition. Besides, I could only do like 3 listing presentations during the course of a day, and I was worn out. I mean, I was a spent hen. I was like, oh gosh. 2 hours. You know, it's an exchange of energy. 2 hours on a listing, 2 hours. Now I'm in and out in 15, 20 minutes, sometimes shorter. And I'll show you how to do that, because sometimes that's the best thing for you and them. Okay, so I asked them to tell me what they're concerned about. And I look at that sheet most of the time on the way out the door. Now, if you get there and they haven't finished it, they haven't filled it out, say, why don't you take a minute and fill out these 2 homework pages, and I'll just take a look around on my own. Plus, how much easier and better is it for you to look around on your own If you go with them, guess what? Yeah, steal your jewelry. Yeah, they might. Listen, you can I'll videotape the whole walk around for you. Okay, so that's one of the homework pages. Here's the other. There's no place like home. Tell me why your home is special. Now, I confess to you, the real reason that we have them fill this out is because too many times we would have to spend time, which is money, going back and redoing our, sheets that go out, property sheets and the information on the internet and in the multiple listing, because inevitably we missed something that was really important. Ran, yes. I like that property sheet, and you mostly got things, the right things. But we have those balsa wood cabinets in the basement with the brass hardware on them, and I think that's going to be important to somebody. Okay. So this homework page is for one thing only, to make them happy. That's not going to be what sells the property anyway. So we have them fill this out. We take the information from it to create the talking points and the property brochure. And since that time, they go, oh, I love it. It's perfect. They don't think, well, he took the information right from me. No, we take it right from them because it's music to their ears. And since that brochure isn't going to be what sells this property, we might as well use it as a tool to make them happy and not have to go back and spend extra time on something that has nothing to do with what you're going to ultimately get paid for. So just little things I try to learn as I go through these things. Plus, they love filling it out. They love it. Okay. Part 2, our plan to sell your home, marketing online and off, guaranteed services, we work for you. So, a marketing proposal. A marketing proposal. Why do I call it that? Because they'd rather have a marketing proposal than a listing presentation. One of them sounds like it could be really quick. The other one sounds like it could be long and arduous. A listing presentation, how long is that going to take? 2 hours. It'll fly right by. The dog's been tugging at my pant leg for an hour. These guys have been kicking themselves under the table, and I'm asking for more water, and they're going, oh my God. Okay, you get a full-time professional agent. You won't find anyone who'll work harder or more professionally to get you the most money for the quickest sale with the fewest problems. Do you all do that? Yeah, okay. Right now, serious buyers go to a realtor because 98.3% of the homes for sale are listed by a realtor. That's a smart thing to do. Most buyers use the professional services of a realtor. So just in case they had that for sale by owner thought in their mind, let's just get rid of it. On average, buyers inspect 12 other homes before selecting. That means that 11 homes are competing with yours. Why do I tell them about that? Well, so they better do what? Yeah. We love a challenge. Foreclosures, short sales, bank-owned properties, and are creating serious challenges for today's home seller. We know how to position your property to get it sold. In other words, there's nothing that we can't handle. We can take care of all that. And you should expect whoever you hire to be able to do that. Okay, next. Our marketing systems are designed to target and attract qualified and serious home buyers, not those who will only buy if they can steal your home by making ridiculous lowball offers. Now, you may think that's ridiculous. Why would you say that to them? I'll tell you why. Because the truth is, they don't want people to come in and lowball them on their property. And I will deliver every offer that I get. But I also let them know that we're looking for the right buyer, because the right buyer will pay the most money. And just any old buyer, they like it, yeah, they'd buy it, but only if they can steal it. You don't want them in your home, and neither do I. And they will love you forever for those words. Absolutely right, Rand. Thank you. We're so glad to hear that. So you are on the same page as them. Now let me just give you a nuance. What is the difference really between the right buyer and a targeted buyer? The right buyer is the person who'll pay the most money because they would have probably done and made the same improvements that these people did. In other words, if someone puts in a $100,000 brick patio, Did the value of that home go up? No. It might make it more sellable, but not more valuable. But it only makes it more sellable to someone who would have done the same thing. So someone who says, oh my gosh, we're going to have to tear that out. Now it's a detriment. So it only makes, unless you added to the square footage, I submit for your consideration, probably didn't increase the value. But they put a new roof on that, cost us $40,000. Okay, you brought it up to standard. Anyone who buys this home is going to expect a roof to be in good repair with no leaks. Now, the fact that you had to put a new one on because you got, 20 years of life or 30 years of life out of it, that's not their problem. So things don't make it more valuable, even though sellers sometimes insist that they do. It makes it more sellable, but only if you find someone just like them who would have done many of the same things. So that's the targeted buyer. We're looking for someone who's probably a lot like them, where those improvements they made make it more sellable, but not more valuable. Okay? I hope that makes sense. We have pre-approved every prospect. I'm sure all of you do that now. Okay, some in a hurry, some are serious but not in a hurry. Some are bargain hunters. Some will never buy. So I can save you from having unqualified strangers roaming through your home and taking the watch if the realtor left it behind. I'm just kidding, that was for you. Virtual tour marketing. If you do virtual tours, you better educate them about it. How will I showcase your home to the most buyers? Over 100 million watch videos on the internet every month. So if you do a virtual tour, make a big deal about it. This is something special. Don't just make it something that you throw in. Enhanced listings on Realtor.com. Most of you do that? Many of you do that? Another method for maximum exposure. So I'm telling them why we're doing the things that we do. Mobile marketing plan. Now, we stopped using these QR codes. I can tell you they never really caught on. But I left it in there for those of you that maybe want to try your hand at it. Okay, 24 hours a day we professionally market your home online and off. You always know what's going on. They can log in on our website and they can see their update of all the marketing things that we've been doing to professionally get their home sold, okay? So they can track us along the way. They can log in, they can send us an email, a text message from right after they log in. Okay, now I take a break. There's 2 ways to sell your home. Number 1, put up a sign, wait for an offer, wait for an offer, wait for an offer. Get a real estate agent, wait for an offer, wait for an offer, wait for a serious offer. Get a new real estate agent, wait for an offer, wait for an offer, wait for an offer. Reduce the sales price, wait for an offer, wait for an offer, wait for an offer. Or number 2, hire Rand Smith and start packing. We're going to get something. Thank you. I leave this in here because it's the thing they talk about to me the most. I love that start packing thing. It just was good because we didn't want to wait for an offer, wait for an offer, and wait for an offer. They did it more dramatically than I just did. So it just gives them a break from their education. And then we'll go back to educating them. To get your home sold, talk to Rand. A face-to-face meeting with Rand, now here it's really important, will only take 15 to 20 minutes. It will only take longer if you have more questions. If it goes beyond the 15 to 20 minutes, whose fault is it? But their palate, what's palatable to them is 15 to 20 minutes. Anybody can withstand that. Say, oh, yeah, perfect. It'll only take longer if you have more questions. And do they? Yeah, a lot of times they do. Sure. Okay. Now let's go to the listing presentation. Now let's all pretend that you're sellers or potential sellers, and you have had that pre-listing package delivered to you, and you've either gone through it or maybe you haven't yet. And let's go to then what happens before the listing presentation. Is it now time? Do you have it? Okay. My plan to sell your home. Okay, let's take a look at it. Planned listing presentation. You better have a planned presentation, especially if you're pretty good. See, I believe that your only challenge is how to get more at-bats. That when you get face-to-face with a client, or a prospect, you're pretty darn good. Is that fair? Yeah. Isn't that true of most of you? I think so. That's because you're a people person. And once they can see and feel all your senses, they can see you, they can smell you. That could be good or bad. But they get to put more of their senses to work, which they can trust more. Because really what they're trying to determine is whether or not the possibility of trust exists. That's what they're trying to satisfy. They're trying to see if the possibility of trust, just that possibility, exists before they'll give you the opportunity. So as many of the senses as you can put get to be working. That's why you're pretty darn good when you get face to face. But until then, we have to have some tools that we use. So in my planned listing presentation, these are the pre-listing appointments. This is before I go, about 2 hours before the listing presentation date and time is set. So let's say I had a listing presentation at 6:15 one night. Then Abby would probably call them at about 4:30, 4 o'clock. And she would ask them the following questions. Yeah, you're going to be meeting with Rand at about 6:15, give or take 10 minutes for traffic. You don't want to be late, do you? But you might just say, give or take 10 or 15 minutes for traffic. Then they'll forgive you if you are. Okay? Trust me on some of these things, you guys. Okay? They've been around a while. I've made all the mistakes and then some. Okay, so I just wanted to find out why you're selling. Well, my husband, I don't know if you remember, but I told someone there that they got a transfer. And so that's really why we want to sell. And where are you moving to? Well, we're moving up to Carmel. That's where we'd like to go, Carmel, Monterey area. Okay, and how soon did you want to be there? Well, his transfer is in 90 days, but we recognize that it sometimes takes longer to sell a home. So, but 90 days would be ideal. Okay, and do you already have an agent who is helping you find another home up there in that area? Why do I ask that question? Referral. There are so many ways for you to make money right now doing what you're doing. Even if I don't take this listing, I still might get a referral fee. You know, we network with the top agents all around the country, and there's absolutely no obligation, but they work very similar to the way that we work. Would you be offended if we had them get in touch with you to see if they might be able to give you a list of the best buys up there? And then they could coordinate the escrow. But that'll save you some time and money. Would you be offended if we did that? No one's ever offended if you're doing something nice for them. Okay? So remember these words, these statements. Would you be offended? No. But Rand, I don't know an agent in that area. Okay, here's something. Go online or call the board of realtors there and ask, what's the name? Give me the name and phone number of a really good agent. And then ask first if they will pay a referral fee, which they all will. And then give them a referral. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose. Take you 10 minutes to do that. 10 minutes. I get over $200,000 a year in referral fees from just doing stuff like this. Okay? Now, if no, go for the referral, which is that they never have someone there, and earn a fee. Now, do you have an opinion of the current market value of your home? How many of you would be nervous to ask that question? You always do. Good. You're strong agents. But so, do you have? Well, we want to see what Rand has to say. Yeah, they say that. Okay. So, and he's going to give you his professional opinion. But we like to just get an idea. Rand likes to have an idea of what you're thinking. Now, if they fight you still, and they won't, but I know some of you don't believe that. So if they fight you on it, we move to the ridiculous, I call it. We'll dial them in one way or the other. We're getting this number. So would you say it's worth $100,000? Oh, no. It's worth much more than that. Well, is it like $1 million? Oh, no, it's not worth that much. 700,000? Well, we were thinking more like, and they'll dial it in for you. All you got to do is know how to get it dialed in. Because would it be nice to know? See, I want to know because I want to know how big the problem is. Really, that's just the truth. And wouldn't you like to know before you went on a listing presentation what they thought that it would sell for? It's a good piece of information to have, believe me. Okay, so once they give that to her. And how did you arrive at your opinion of value? Probably one of my favorite questions. And how did you arrive at your opinion of value? Now you're going to have to really resist the temptation here to do a couple things. Well, we added up the bills we wanted to pay off. We want to send the kids to college, so we put their tuition in and all. We need to pay off our mortgage here, which was X number of dollars. We added all of that up, and it came to $851,000. Now, instead of going, you can't do that, tell them that is one way of doing it. It is a way. Because they just did it, that made it a way. Yes, of course. So that is one way of doing it, and we'll probably show you another way. But find out how they arrived at their opinion of value, because it's hysterical, A. And B, the way they arrive at their opinion of value is much different than the way that we did. Well, the home down the street sold for $850, and ours is 10 times better than that. Have you ever been in that home? Well, no, but we could see from the outside what it looks like inside. We're sure of that. I mean, our kids go to a better school than theirs. And I saw their kid out there getting in a fight one. Do they say the wildest, craziest things sometimes? I mean, it's pretty amazing. I swear I'm going to write a book one day. So don't laugh at them. Resist the temptation. Bite a hole in your lip or whatever you have to do. Say, that is one way of doing it. And we'll show you another one. Okay? So, what's your decision-making process in selecting an agent? In other words, what is the single most important consideration in selecting an agent? Will all the decision makers be present at your appointment with Rand tonight? If they're not, what happens? We reschedule. I'm telling all of you new agents, you do not go on a listing presentation without all the decision makers there. This is why we do the pre-appointment questions. We want to find out all these little things because our time is all we have for sale. And believe me, my time's valuable and so is yours. But if you don't value it, don't think they're going to. So he said, why don't we do that? Because we need all the decision makers. That's just the way we work. So why don't we reschedule, and you can make sure that, I think the mother co-signed or something. So we'll reschedule. The other reason you don't want to go without all the decision makers is because if you're a woman and you go to do a listing presentation to a male, the man of the house, the husband, whatever, and you're really good and you are really good, he's going to want to hire you. His wife comes home then from work, she missed the presentation, and he's singing your praises. And not good. You're not going to get that listing. I don't care how carefully you present. It's still going to look, she's going to feel like she didn't have any say in it. And you will not get that listing. Now, if you're a male, the other thing, same thing. If you're doing it to the female, to the wife, you're doing a presentation. Her husband gets home. God, you should have heard this guy, honey. He was great. He was razor sharp. This is the guy. Oh, really? Did you sign anything? Because it takes like both of our signatures to employ him. Just wondering if he knows that. And did you? Well, no, I just thought I'd wait for it. Well, I got a couple guys I want to interview too. So it's nothing good can come of it. Okay, so you're just gonna have to trust me on this until you find this out. Okay, if Rand answers all of your questions to your satisfaction, will you be prepared to list the property with him at that time? You wanna know what most of the time they say? Yes, we wouldn't have him out to our home if we weren't gonna list with him. Is that a good bit of information for you to know before you go? You will be shocked at how many times, unbeknownst to you, they say, well, yeah, we wouldn't have him out to the home if we weren't going to list with him. But we don't know that when we get there, and we do our 2-hour listing presentation and talk ourselves right out of that listing. So ask that question. Yes?
What do you say if they say to you, no, we're going to be interviewing other agents?
That's great. We just wanted to ask and see if you were prepared to. So if Rand answers all of your questions, meets with your satisfaction, would you be prepared? So now let's listen to the next thing. And I'll tell you how to deal with that, but you have to remind me at the end of this presentation. It says, we'd appreciate you having an extra key handy, no matter what their answer is. We'd appreciate you having an extra key handy for Rand to take with him. That way, we can get started right away. I don't care what the answer to the question above it. We're going to need a key. And we're making the assumption that we're going to do a really good job. Okay, and I don't care if I go first, second, last on the listing presentation scheme of things. And while I'm at it, I'll just answer your question. Here's how you deal with that. If they say, first of all, if they say, well, we got two other people and they insist on keeping those interviews, you didn't get the listing. Okay, but when I get done, I usually say, let me ask you a question. I know you've got two other people you're going to interview. But if you had to make the decision right now, I kind of get the impression that you would choose me. They go, yeah, actually, that's what we're thinking, yeah. So is the problem that you don't want to have to call these people up and tell them, cancel those appointments and all? And they'll end up telling you just what they did me. This is how I came to put this system together. They say, well, yeah, it's just not fun. They don't want to have to talk to a salesperson and cancel an appointment. They think they're going to chew them out or be mad. So I said, let's do this. I will talk to these other realtors for you. In fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell them that you are going to give them a $1,000 bonus if they bring a buyer in the first 30 days that buys the property. The reason I do that, and I'm going to pay that fee. You don't have to, I'm going to pay it. The reason I do that is because too many agents set an appointment by telling them they already are likely to have a buyer for it. Yes, and they don't have a buyer for it most of the time. So I let them know that I'm going to tell them that you're going to give them a $1,000 bonus, okay? And I get to call them, and I'll let them know that you've chosen me. But they're going to get, they bring an offer in the next 30 days, so they're still motivated to sell your home, is what I'm saying. They go, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I said, if they get a $1,000 bonus, they have a buyer for it, chances are pretty good they're going to bring in the offer, right? Well, yeah, why wouldn't they? Well, I could tell you why, but I won't. Those are kind of fun calls to make. They don't always go that well. Why are you calling me? Because I have a signed listing in my hand. And the good news is they're going to give you a $1,000 bonus when you bring that buyer you talked about in through me. So I try to find solutions for some of these things because I don't want to, if you leave without a listing appointment, without a listing presentation or a listing agreement signed, you're not going to get it probably. The chances of you securing that listing after you leave goes down by about 10% every 2 or 3 hours. It just does. Learn from it and go on to the next one. Okay? Because if you've done your job, the natural ending to a great presentation is they sign the listing. Okay? All right, so let's move past the appointments. Now, when I get there, believe it or not, I just say to help know how to best serve you. I know that Abby talked with you this afternoon. I just want to review the questions and the answers real quick. Okay, do you absolutely have to sell? Well, we'd like to. Well, do you absolutely have to? See, I want to know if they, in their minds, do they absolutely have to? Well, yeah, we can't afford 2 mortgages. Okay, good information to know? Yes. Will you price your home so we can sell it? Well, that depends on what you tell us. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood that. And what do you think a real estate company should do to sell your home for the most money? What do you think a real estate agent should do? They have very specific opinions on this. And whatever they tell you, is that one of the things that you just happen to do? Yes, of course. Accentuate that. And is that important to you? Yes, it's very important. In fact, we wouldn't hire an agent that didn't do it. And then I ask them these questions. What's important about moving to you? What's important about moving? How's that important to you? And then I feed their first answer back to them. And you don't know this, but when you ask those questions, you will always get somebody's core belief. Because most of us, we hide from ourselves. We build up these layers, this facade, and it's hard for us to really know why we're doing anything. So this is designed to take those bricks down and to find out what's really going on. I'll give you a specific example of a client of mine. What's important about moving? Well, we wanted to get a bigger house. I've been working hard, and, we want to move up to Pebble Beach, really nice area. So we wanted to get a bigger house. Okay, so a bigger house, you've been working hard, moved to Pebble Beach. How's that important to you? How's that important to you? Well, I feel like I finally, had done a good job, and I made it. And then I said that you did a good job, that you feel like you're moving up, you've been working hard. Ultimately, what will all of that do just for you? And now, respectfully speaking, shut up. What will all of that, those answers that he gave me, what will all of that do for you? It took him a few minutes. Sometimes you'll have a pregnant pause, and you're going to be tempted to interject something in that silence. Don't do it. It's just because he's trying to explore down to what it's all about. And he said, Rand, what it will really do for me is this. When I was a young lad, every day, every night that I went to sleep, I shared a bed and a bedroom with 3 brothers. Every night when I went to sleep, I promised myself and swore that when I grew up and I had a family, that everyone would have their own bed and their own bedroom to sleep in. And I guess what this will ultimately do for me is it has enough bedrooms for me to fulfill that commitment that I made. And this poor guy was almost in tears. Wow. Because he had no idea that's really what was underneath this all. He thought he was doing it for prestige and all this other surface stuff. So those are 3 really powerful questions. And I'm going to impart them upon you and caution you and ask you to please guard them carefully, because you're going to get all sorts of emotional states. I had one lady who said that she feels like she's lost her soul since she moved there. She used to work and be vibrant. Ever since she moved to that new house, all that's gone away. So selling that home and moving, getting another place, she'd feel like she'd get her life back and her soul back. So this makes our job a little more important than what we thought sometimes, doesn't it? Okay, so that's why I ask those questions. It doesn't take long, but it's the way you ask them and you feed back their own answers. It will get you to their core belief. You also need to know this, that no one does anything without first assessing how they think they're going to feel when they do it. Nothing. We do nothing. We don't get up and walk over there unless we first have already assessed what it is we think we're going to feel if we do that. If I eat a gallon of ice cream, I won't do that until I've assessed how I think I'm going to feel when I do it. Every bite will be, Or I might say, and then I feel yucky, and that gallon of ice cream's gone. I know where it's sitting. So either way, we motivate ourselves one way or the other, but we only do something when we first assess what the benefit is and understand how it's going to affect us. And that's what's at play here. Someone taught me those years ago. Never forgot them. I always use them. Wherever you see the click here box, click on that. And in my listing presentation, if we click on that, because in my listing presentation, I have laminated each page so they could still hold it and all that. And I thought I was going to get away from that, but I have it on the computer as well. I found that when I just did it on the computer, they didn't get as involved with it. Their attention would, wane. So I've gone to doing both. I have the laminates and I have it on the computer. And one usually looks at it, but the other they could touch, hold, feel, and they get more involved. It's an amazing thing. So they can click on that and look at a little video, short video, that explains things to them throughout the presentation if they choose to. Okay, next. Now I got to slow down for a minute. Total market overview. If pricing is the critical issue, then we need to know that we have to have a different approach for things. And this is what I do. I do a total market overview, and I'm going to go through the sample with you right now. You'll have the template. And I know some of you are going to challenge me and say, it doesn't always work out. Yes, it does. I've had people challenge me from here through Canada, and no one has ever been able to prove me wrong. Not that I want to be proven wrong or that I can't be proven wrong, but here's what I do. if we do a total market overview instead of a CMA, and we will go back, and let's say they have a home for sale in Monterey that they want to sell, and we will go back normally about 6 months, and we will search all of the homes in the entire area based on a fairly broad price parameter. So let's say I think that the market value might be $500,000. We would probably do a search of all of the homes in the entire area from $450,000 to $550,000. Okay? So I do 50,000 below and 50,000 above, because most of you have a pretty good idea of what the value is, don't you? Before you even go. But you could use whatever range you want. We use a $100,000 swap. Okay? We go back. And here's what we find. And this is the presentation to them. And we do that rather than the standard CMA that most agents will do, where we handpick the homes that may or may not be comparable to yours. If we did that, we could move the price up or down $50,000, $75,000 or more. They're shocked when they hear it, but they know that it's true. So I said, let's look at the competition. Currently, there are 9 homes for sale in that area based on the pricing parameters. The average market time of those 9 homes is 47 days. The average list price of those homes is $824,587. So that's our competition. There are 3 pending sales that have been on the market for an average of 28 days. The average price of those is $796,554. We don't know what the final sale price will be until they close escrow. But on the properties that came on the market and didn't sell, there was a total of 9. The average market time for those was 129 days. The average list price was $865,957. Why do you suppose those homes didn't sell? If they say price, or if they don't, resist the temptation to say, yep, that's it. If they say, well, probably the price, say, it might be. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but it could be. That gives you so much credibility when you just don't jump on it. But where the market is really determined is right down here. Tap, 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 circle, circle, circle. Properties that have actually sold. These are the people that set the market. It's not me, it's not you, but these are the people that have actually stuck their fist in their pocket, pulled out the money, or gone to the bank and borrowed it. And let's look at their statistics. Over the past 6 months, 18 homes have sold. The average list price of those homes was $808,759. The average sold price was $791,251. The asking price versus the selling price, they were selling for about 98% of their asking price. The average home sold every month is 3. The average square foot of those homes that did sell was 3,129. The average cost per square foot was $252.88. The average market time for those homes that did sell was 27 days. Now, based on this information, these facts of record, circle, 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 what does it appear the market value of your home might be? Not that it is, that it might be based on these facts of record. Now, they'll hedge their bet sometimes. Well, I know what it says there, but we think that our home is worth, $850,000. Well, let's look at their current competition. We'd be at $850,000. All of those 9 homes would have to sell before we do, because that's our competition. So it's up to you. I don't know how long you want to wait to get it sold, but some of those might not sell. They might end up in the other category. But where the market's really determined was these people right here. Now, you said that you have right around 3,100 square feet, so about the same square footage. So we can't really add anything there, but we'll do this. And usually you can get them to say that figure. Well, it says 791, 251, but I would like to try it for $850,000. So here's what I do. Well, let's do this. Let's list it at $850,000 for the first 30 days. If there's someone out there that's willing to pay a little more than the market will bear, would you agree through our marketing that we'll find them? They'll always concede that to you because you've given them their way. And at the end of that 30 days, if we don't have it sold, would you agree we need to list it, reduce the price to a little closer to what the market appears to be? And they will concede that. And I do get automatic price reductions in writing, signed and approved at the listing presentation table. That's how I get paid on every listing. Automatic price, because what's the one only thing that would keep it from selling? Price. You should all know that. It's not you, because you could be the worst agent in town, but if you have it priced right, it's going to sell. Yes? Yeah, you guys are getting quiet on me. This is known as a total market overview. I can tell you that you will hear this every time. Why doesn't everybody do it like this? I don't know, but we do. Because we didn't think it was fair to handpick which homes that would compare to yours by geographic area, and when we can move the price up or down. So we look at the facts of record and we use averaging, and it's pretty darn accurate. And I challenge some of you, go home tonight, try it. Try to see, well, I don't think that's going to work. Try it. Try it. I use a large swath. If it's a home for sale in Monterey, I'll use the whole city of Monterey and put in those pricing parameters. See, it wouldn't get on the list unless it was somewhat similar to theirs. Okay? Does that make sense? Did that answer your question? Okay. All right. Now, I know you probably have questions. That's fine. I'll be around. Some of you are going, what the heck did you just do? It's okay. You'll get used to it. Or you can use your CMA until you do. Okay. You don't have to use everything unless you want to get paid every time. Now, no, give or take 10%, all real estate agents do the same thing to get a home sold. Did I show you anything exorbitant? No. Anything that mind-blowing? No. 80% of the marketing of your home is done when the proper pricing strategy is chosen. That's how important it is. There's lots of opinions, one set of facts. We look at the facts of record, and we pretty much could determine what the market value is or appears to be. Not that it is, but it appears to be. Because again, it's not an exact science. Now, you have two choices. We can go through all the marketing systems and activities that I will use to get your home sold, or I can show you and tell you about only those things that we do different from everyone else. These will show and tell you why 97% of the homes that we list sell. Which would you like? Which choice do they think they take? Number one. I can go through, just only tell them about, we can go through all the marketing. I'm sorry, number two. It is number two. Thank you. They say, well, no, they're already sold. If you're doing a CMA at the end of your listing presentation, stop. That's the one thing they want to hear from you. They're not really interested in anything else. They want to know what you think you could sell the home for. Get up right to it. It's the first thing I go to after I ask them those few questions. It's only taking longer to explain all these things to you. Okay, so get that done up front. All right, so then we go through professional photography and videography, web appeal. We tell them about that. I'll let you read these on your own. Professional photography, we think it's important, so we use a professional. If you don't use a professional, just talk about the photography. We use Twilight photos. I'll tell you why. They really sell. And photos are selling more properties online than virtual tours. Did you know that? But you have to have enough photos. You couldn't get too many photos for people to look at. They want 100 if they can do 100. Okay, next. This is a sample of one of our flyers. We create a unique property flyer. Okay, we even have some of them that are audios. We create a unique custom video. So we tell them what we're going to do for them. My job is to mobilize the entire real estate community. Isn't that your job? I'm losing my voice, aren't I? I'm trying to get it back by washing it down, but it's on its way. It'll be back tomorrow. May be good news or not. So my job is to mobilize the entire real estate community and get all of the other agents working to sell your home. Why? Because that's what's best for you. My job isn't to hold up and try to double end the sale on your property so that I make twice as much money. My job is to mobilize the entire real estate community and get all of the agents working to sell your home, because that's what's best for you. Of course, we use one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools. What is that? The multiple listing service. Did you think that didn't have any value anymore? It does, but only in how you present it. Here's how the multiple listing service works. It's loaded with sellers. However, these sellers will soon become what? Buyers. So move up sellers. People move up by about what percentage after they sell? Do you know? 20, 25% higher. They sell for 500,000. They usually move up to 6.5, something like that. Okay, that's what the last statistics were. Most sellers will buy a home for more money. So we target that group of soon-to-be home buyers. Did you hear that? We target that group by going through their agent. Typically, a home seller will purchase a home for 20 to 25% above what their home sells for. Did you know the average distance that most home sellers move when they sell their home? 12 miles, very good guess. It was 8 miles, it might be up to 12. Think about that, you guys. Think about that. Boy, you better be getting two ends of this transaction, especially if you have a seller. And you better sign them up in writing. I'll show you tomorrow how to do that, because it's very easy. If you don't do it, someone else will come and take them from you. You get a lot more than just me. My company's working for you. My company's agents, and that's with you have a company with agents. I don't. It's me. The 49 companies and 1,904 MLS agents are all working for you. And most importantly, I'm working for you. Keeping you informed. Feedback. We're going to let you know on a regular basis all the communication to keep you up to date on the things that we're doing, the feedback that we're getting after showings, and I'll show you along the way here how we do that. We ask the homeowner to contact us every time their listing is shown. Even though we can download the information off the electronic key box, we like to get them involved. So we ask them to call and give us the name of the agent, their phone number, their email address, their cell phone number, so that we can then communicate with them. And what we do is this. We ask them to either send this back to us electronically, but most of the time we call the agent that shows one of our listings and we just ask these questions, okay, to get feedback for the seller. Are your clients interested in this home? Okay, why or why not? What suggestions do you have to make the home more sellable? What do you think the final sale price will be? That's a great question to ask any agent that shows your home. Okay, and what do you think the final sale price will be? Give us your feedback. We give everybody that gives us feedback a lottery ticket. We had one guy that won $5,000 in the lottery. I feel like we took some of their time, we need to give them something for it. So we do, we send them a lottery ticket. Most everybody will help us and give us that information. The other thing that it's good for is because if you have a listing that has a smell like cat urine or animal urine, and you feel like you just can't tell them that because they don't smell anything, and that cat is like their baby, and you might get in trouble by saying, hey, do you know your cat stinks, smells like urine in your house? Okay. So sometimes I might just ask if we have a problem with one of our listings. We might ask, what suggestions do you have to make the home more sellable? If they don't give us what we want, they might just say, did you happen to smell a little tinge of a smell of urine or anything? Yeah, now that you're bringing it up, we did smell. We smelled it. My client said something to me about it. Okay, let me just make a note of that. Then you can tell your clients, I was going, because we give them all these feedback forms. We send them to them, and we call them right away and give them the feedback. Now, this person said that they smelled a urine smell. I didn't smell anything. But they said they did. Let me tell you one thing. They will never do business with that agent. Ever. Ever. But I'm in the business of working for my clients. They're the ones who pay me. So I have been known to ask them a little more deeper question when I needed a better answer. Okay? And I'm giving them a lottery ticket for that. Okay, you can decide on that one yourself. Now, once we get the feedback from the showing agent, we will call you immediately. Let them know we also will send it out to them so that they can put it in their binder, which you'll learn about on some of the calls we have after this program. Okay? Internet marketing and more, lots more. How I will showcase your home. Remember this in the pre-listing package, talking about the virtual tour, enhanced listings, why we market on Realtor.com, enhanced listings, there it is. Okay? Mobile marketing, 24 hours a day. This all is familiar to them. They've already seen all this. so I can go through very quickly. Your home is published to hundreds of the most active websites online. We create a custom standalone website for your home. Electronic key box. What about open houses and newspaper ads? Now, how many of you do open houses? How many of you like doing them? How many of you sell the house that you hold open all the time? A few of you. That's good. It's a great place for, as a new agent, to get leads. I'm not such a big fan of them. I like to engage in more aggressive marketing, more assertive. So I give them the facts that will support what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be doing an open house, and I don't want them to think they're getting slighted. I don't want them to say, hey, we expect you to do an open house every week. Not going to happen. That's passive marketing. We focus on proactive, aggressive marketing because that's what it takes to get your home sold. Here are some facts. Less than 3 to 5% of the time does the home being held open actually sell. Actually, less than 3% of the time does a person that calls in from a print ad end up buying the property that they asked about. So these are considered passive marketing, and we specialize in active, aggressive marketing. Now here's a tool you're going to want to use. We have a plan that works, and so do we, a plan that we work just for you. So you can look at this. There's no duplicate pages. We set it out for them so that they can monitor us. Here's all the things that we do to professionally market your home. We might get to number 30 and we have it sold. We might get to 200 and it's still not sold, so we'll keep going. I listed all of the things that I had done or might do to sell a home. But I listed them out and told them they can monitor this, keep track of us. But more importantly, it's 7 pages, things because they think we do nothing to earn our commission. So I educate them to the things that, the tasks that we engage in to get their home sold. It's not quite what you think. And this has been a real eye-opener for them. Well, I had no idea. No, that's right. Now, do they ever monitor where I'm at? Keep track? No, but I invite them to do it because they're not going to. Okay? Negotiations and communications. Helping you negotiate with buyers. We can get more money. I'll let you read that on the easy exit listing agreement. We talked about that already. 80% of the marketing is the pricing strategy. Agent note. Now, after I finish showing them everything that I do, I'll say, do you see how all of this marketing that I've just shown you will work to get your home sold? They'll always say yes. And you also see how if we do all of this and your home doesn't sell, the one and only thing that would be keeping it from selling is the what? And I shut up and have them tell me the price. And it will make your life so much easier, especially with the next thing that I'm going to get coming up. Keeping you informed of the progress, will not abandon you when you list with me by phone, by email. Let them know how you're going to communicate. Hiring a realtor should be based upon the plan they show you and not the price that they tell you. Would you agree? Yes, because they might give you the wrong price. So here's my bonus listing tools for you to use. This is a California listing agreement. Here's some real secrets for you. Okay? I never worked for less than 6%. Ever, ever, ever. Do you have discount brokers here? I apologize for my voice, you guys. Okay, if you ever had someone say, well, we wanted you to discount your fee because we know someone that will do it for 4%. And I've even heard of someone at 3%, and I've heard there's a new person that will do it for 2.75%. So I like to one-up them when they do that. You know, I've heard of all those people, and I've also heard that there's someone doing it for 2% and another person that now is doing it for 1.5%. They're also a bail bondsman. And this is a part-time job because they have to be cutting corners somewhere. But here's one of the ways it never becomes a problem. It's a law of marketing called the law of the least choice. It's one of those rules about marketing. So I fill in, before we go on a listing presentation, under the commission, 6%, -7%, -8%, and then -9. The presentation goes like this. as you can see, and the commission's not set by law, it is negotiable. But here's what we charge. If we're in total agreement about the marketing plan and the pricing strategy, which we are, we're going to charge 6%, and that's what I've decided to do with you. 7% we'll charge if it's going to take a little more time, because we're not quite in agreement. 8% is we're going to do some additional marketing, maybe overseas. 9%, even sometimes 10%, is many times reserved for raw land. So based on this, in the nice circle, we're going to do it for the 6%. Is there a choice less than 6% there? No. See, you're not planting these seeds. 6% is like they think they dodged a bullet. Oh, honey, we got the lowest one. 6%. Now, I'm telling you and showing you this because I don't have that objection come up, because I tell them, we're going to charge 6%. There's no other choice there. Now, we do split that fee to the other agent that brings in an offer that's acceptable through us to you at an acceptable price. So we split that fee. So we let them know that. I also say to see the surefire sale addendum, which we make a part of this. All right, so we tell them we split that half a fee. And since you just have to try this to know what I'm talking about, you guys, here's the surefire sale addendum. Automatic price reductions every 10 to 15 days until it sells. Because the one and only person, or the one and only thing that would keep it from selling is the what? Price. I also charge a processing fee of $495. Most people want the extra service, I'm sure you will too, but hold on, it's not a check you have to write tonight. Because that's what usually is going through their head. Wait, he wants me to write a check for $495 tonight? I'm not going to do that. So I intervene. I found that out by asking them what went across their mind before when I didn't have the guts to charge this fee. Now I charge it, tell them no. The only way I get paid a dime, the only way I get paid anything is by bringing an offer in an amount, at an amount acceptable to you, and nets you enough dollars that you say yes and sign it. I don't get paid a dime until we close escrow and you get paid. Isn't that true? You need to point that out. So we could talk about these fees all you want, but I don't get paid anything unless I bring an offer that's acceptable to you based on what your bottom line is that you're looking for. And then only then do I expect to be paid. It's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So I charge a $495 fee. It's basically, so we have one person dedicated to the escrow that dots the I's, crosses the T's. Most people want the extra service, I'm sure you will too. So you don't have to pay anything right now, which is great. It's almost like charging it, isn't it? It's kind of a great deal. So I would use this addendum if I were you, the automatic price adjustments, because it's not your fault if it doesn't sell.